I'm Dr. Carrie Heeneman, and I'm here today to teach you about tomatoes. Tomatoes are divided into categories based on shape, use, and size. There's cherry tomatoes, which you usually eat whole. There's plum tomatoes, which have more of a pear shape, such as Roma tomatoes, and those are perfect for tomato sauces. So think about like canned tomatoes that you keep in your pantry. There's slicing tomatoes that are round or globe shaped, and they're best for tomato sauces. There's beefsteak tomatoes, which are really round and juicy, and they're perfect for slicing and putting into a sandwich. And there's a bunch of other varieties as well. There's heirloom tomatoes, there's green, orange, yellow tomatoes. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes. There's lots of different ways you can eat a tomato too. So you can pick it up and eat it raw like an apple and take a bite out of it. You can just pop it in your mouth like a grape. You can put it into pasta sauce or salsa. You can add it to pizza or a salad or a sandwich. Just slice it up and put it on those things. And you can also drink tomato juice, but when you're buying tomato juice, you want to make sure that it doesn't have a really high level of sodium or salt inside of it. Serving size of tomato is half a cup. So remember, it's a cupped handful, which is somewhere around one small tomato. So this would be too small and this would be too big, but somewhere in between those two. There's lots of reasons to eat tomatoes. Tomatoes are an excellent source of vitamin C and vitamin A, and they're also a good source of potassium. Let's learn a little bit more about potassium. Only about 0.35%, so less than 1% of our body, is made up of potassium. But potassium plays a really important role in how our body functions. Potassium helps muscles to contract and allows us to balance the amount of fluid in our body. Potassium is also involved in the movement of nerve signals and helps us regulate how our heart beats. Potassium is not only found in tomatoes, it's found in other fruits and vegetables such as avocados, bananas, sweet potatoes, beans, and dried fruit. So it's really important to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables every day so you get the potassium that your body needs to function well. Tomatoes can grow on either a bush or a pole. We actually have some poles in our backyard because our tomatoes are on a vine, and those tomatoes vines love to grow up that pole, and when the fruit gets really heavy in the summer, it helps support it. Botanically, tomatoes are actually considered a fruit, but in the United States, they're classified as a vegetable because in 1893, the US Supreme Court decided that since tomatoes were usually served with dinner and not as dessert, they would classify them as a vegetable. When you buy a tomato at the store, you want to look for tomatoes that are plump and are evenly colored, and when you smell them, they should have a sweet smell. You want to store them at room temperature, and you want to keep them away from sunlight so they don't get too ripe. Let's learn a few cool facts about tomatoes before we round up. There are over 4,000 different types of varieties, and they all have a slightly different taste and texture. So if you think that you don't like tomatoes, keep trying them because you might like some of the different varieties. Tomatoes were originally eaten by the Aztecs, so people have been eating tomatoes for a really long time. And the biggest ever tomato was 7 pounds, 12 ounces. Thanks for learning with us.